Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes Oneohtrix Point Never, again review, producer teams with AI to take pop to the outer limits. UK regulator clears $1.52 billion United Health EMIS deal. Why Rupert Murdoch stepping down is good news. Australia's antitrust regulator pushes back against concerns after 3 big deals blocked. Japan Display, HKC end tie-up talks on OLED display plant in China. Nikkei. Oneohtrix Point Never, again review, producer teams with AI to take pop to the outer limits. The Guardian. Daniel Lopatin, known as Oneohtrix Point Never, has released a new album titled Again. The album combines elements of pop, post-rock, prog, and orchestral music, and features real instrumentation from guests like Lee Ranaldo. Lopatin incorporates AI technologies to mutate vocals and interpret composition, resulting in a mix of touching and experimental tracks. The album showcases Lopatin's ability to blend pop with its own disintegration and offers a unique and innovative musical experience. UK regulator clears $1.52 billion United Health EMIS deal. Reuters. United Health Group's £1.24 billion, $1.52 billion acquisition of healthcare technology firm EMIS has been cleared by Britain's competition regulator, the Competition and Markets Authority, CMA. The CMA found no competition concerns in the deal, which aims to position the combined entity to provide better services to the UK's National Health Service, NHS. Why Rupert Murdoch stepping down is good news. SCMP opinion. Rupert Murdoch's influence on the media industry has been significant. As he steps down at the age of 92 and hands over control of the News Corp empire to his son, Lachlan, it is important to reflect on the impact Murdoch has had. Murdoch's love affair with the media began in his childhood, watching his father run newspapers and radio stations in Australia. He went on to launch The Australian, became a dominant force in the UK media, and then turned his sights on the US. Murdoch's media career has been one of controversy and sensationalism, and he has been heavily involved in politics. Lachlan Murdoch now faces the challenge of leading an old media company in a new media era. Australia's antitrust regulator pushes back against concerns after 3 big deals blocked. Reuters. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, ACCC, has denied allegations that it has become deal-averse after blocking 3 major deals in the past year. The regulator has ruled against a data-sharing agreement between Telstra and TPG Telecoms, a buyout by ANZ Bank of a smaller rival, and a purchase by Transurban of a Melbourne road. The ACCC chair, Gina Cass-Gottlieb, stated that the blocking of the deals was a coincidence and that the vast majority of mergers are still approved. Investors are closely watching a ruling on the $15.4 billion Australian dollar bid by a consortium led by Brookfield for Origin Energy. Japan Display, HKC end tie-up talks on OLED display plant in China. Nikkei. Reuters. Japan Display and China's HKC Corp have ended their discussions about building an organic LCD panel plant in China. The talks, which began in April, aim to build display-making plants using Japan Display's ELEAP OLED technology and start mass production in 2025. However, the companies were unable to agree on the licensing fee that HKC would pay for Japan Display's technology, and the talks were likely affected by China's economic slowdown and HKC's recent withdrawal of its initial public offering. Sony doubles down on virtual production business using its hardware muscle. Reuters. Sony Group is increasing its focus on the virtual production business, which is experiencing market-beating growth. The company offers virtual production facilities to filmmakers and broadcasters, using LED panels to display images that are integrated into the scene as it is shot. This technology offers advantages such as more realistic reflections and greater immersion for actors on set. Sony's strength in hardware, as well as its movie-making expertise and Hollywood connections, give it an edge in the virtual production market. The company's virtual production business is growing at around 35% annually, faster than the overall market. Sony plans to roll out better panels and cameras, as well as offering volumetric capture and other service options. The gamble: can genetically modified mosquitoes end disease? New York Times. Scientists from the University of California are working on a project in São Tomé and Príncipe to genetically modify mosquitoes so that they can no longer transmit malaria. The idea is to introduce a small colony of genetically modified mosquitoes to mate with wild ones, with the aim of making every member of the species that transmits malaria immune to the disease. The team has already successfully engineered mosquitoes to block the parasite in a lab. The scientists believe they can harness gene drive, a process in which an inherited trait spreads swiftly throughout a population, so that all the species' offspring will carry it. The University of California project has poured resources and energy into public education to advertise the benefits of genetic modification and to try to assuage fears. But the program needs government approval to move forward with the genetic portion of the intervention, and São Tomé and Príncipe, like many other African countries, does not yet have a legal framework for the use of genetically modified organisms. Legislation to establish one has stalled in the National Assembly. China Trade Council asks U.S. to carefully consider tech investment ban. Reuters. China's International Trade Council, the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade, has formally requested that the United States reconsider rules that restrict U.S. investments in China's tech sector. The request comes after U.S. President Joe Biden signed an executive order last month that prohibits or restricts investments in Chinese entities involved in semiconductors, microelectronics, quantum information technologies, and certain artificial intelligence systems. The Council argues that the order sets vague and broad restrictions that do not differentiate between military and civilian purposes, which could lead to transaction risks, compliance costs, and damage to the global industrial chain. U.S. financial firms have also requested greater clarity on the proposed rules, stating that they are too vague and place the burden of compliance on investors. The rules are expected to be implemented next year. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the 6 Degrees world, here to bring you the latest news and insights from around the globe. Let's dive right into today's stories. First up, we have Daniel Lopatin, also known as Oneohtrix Point Never, who has released a new album titled Again. Lopatin combines various genres and incorporates AI technologies to create a unique musical experience. It's a pop album that pushes the boundaries and takes us to the outer limits of music. So, if you're ready to explore the uncharted territories of sound, this album is definitely worth a listen. Moving on, we have news from the UK, where United Health Group's acquisition of healthcare technology firm EMIS has been cleared by the competition regulator. This deal aims to improve services for the UK's National Health Service, and it seems the regulators have given it a green light. So, let's hope this acquisition brings positive changes to the healthcare industry in the UK. Now, let's talk about Rupert Murdoch. The media mogul is stepping down and passing the reins of his vast empire to his son, Lachlan. Murdoch has had a significant impact on the media industry, with his controversial and sensationalist approach. Now, Lachlan faces the challenge of leading an old media company in the new media era. It'll be interesting to see how he navigates these uncharted waters. In Australia, the antitrust regulator, the ACCC, has been accused of being deal-averse after blocking 3 major deals. However, the ACCC denies these allegations and says that the majority of mergers are still approved. Investors are eagerly awaiting a ruling on a multi-billion-dollar bid, which will shed more light on the regulator's stance. So, let's see how this unfolds. Next, we have news from Japan, where Japan Display and HKC Corp have ended their discussions about building an organic LCD panel plant in China. The talks fell through due to disagreements over licensing fees and the economic slowdown in China. It seems like they couldn't find a common ground, and the opportunity slipped through their fingers. Shifting gears, Sony is doubling down on the virtual production business using its hardware muscle. This technology allows filmmakers and broadcasters to create more immersive and realistic scenes. With Sony's expertise and Hollywood connections, they have an edge in this market. So, get ready for even more mind-blowing visual experiences in the future. Now, let's talk about mosquitoes. Scientists from the University of California are working on genetically modifying mosquitoes to eliminate malaria. They aim to make every member of the species that transmits the disease immune to it. While the project shows promise, it still needs government approval to proceed. It's a fascinating endeavor that could potentially save countless lives, so let's hope it gets the support it needs. Lastly, China's International Trade Council has asked the U.S. to reconsider its rules restricting investments in China's tech sector. The Council argues that these rules are too vague and could pose transaction risks and damage the global industrial chain. U.S. financial firms have also requested greater clarity on the proposed rules. As tensions between the US and China continue, it's clear that the tech sector is at the center of the storm. And there you have it, folks. Another day, another batch of interesting stories from around the world. Now, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions or insightful comments? I'm all ears. So, let's start the discussion, and remember, in the 6 Degrees world, there's always more to discover. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6 Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6do Brief via email.